Hey y'all, this is Mr. Pepin, and for our fourth week of online science, we are going to be detailing organism life cycles. Last week, we analyzed how energy is transferred through an ecosystem via food chains and food webs. This week, we'll look at how organisms change on an individual basis over the course of their lives. Organisms generally start off as a basic structure and then develop more complex features to help them survive as they grow. In the case of plants, most start off as a seed, and then in the next stage of their lives begin to sprout or give off roots in a process called germination. Afterwards, sprouting plants will continue to grow from seedlings until they reach maturity. And once plants reach this stage, they are able to make new seeds. And then once these seeds become planted, the cycle starts all over again. In the case of animals, some go through a simple life cycle wherein the young animal looks very similar to the adult. A good example of an animal that goes through a simple life cycle is a lion. As it grows, a lion changes from a cub to an adult. But the adult still shares many physical traits with the cub, such as paws, fur, and a tail. Conversely, other animals have a much more complex life cycle, wherein they will undergo a process called metamorphosis. Animals that undergo metamorphosis will look very different in their infant phase as opposed to their adult phase. A good example of an animal that undergoes metamorphosis is the mealworm. These insects start off as eggs, hatch into grubs known as larvae, shed their shells and become a pupa, and then finally break out of this shell as a grown darkling beetle. As you can see, the beetle looks very different from the egg. Our next slide is going to include two videos detailing different types of life cycles. One is a bean plant life cycle here in red. The other is an animal life cycle, in this case, the darkling beetle. After you've watched this video, you'll move on to your tasks for the week. Task number 1 is to sort the stages of a cricket's life cycle into the appropriate boxes. You are going to have pictures of the cricket at different stages of its life cycle to the left, and then descriptions of these stages to the right. You are going to click and drag the picture to the appropriate stage, as well as the description. Next, task number 2. You are going to then examine the life cycle of the darkling beetle as it goes from egg all the way to adult. You are then going to match the descriptions on the outer boundaries of the slide to the correct life cycle stage. When you are completely done, you will compare and contrast the life cycle of the cricket and the life cycle of the beetle with this bubble map. Traits that are unique to the cricket or the beetle will go on the left and the right, respectively. Traits that they share in common will go in the middle. After you've finished the cricket and beetle life cycles, you will move on to your last task, wherein you will depict the life cycle of an organism of your choice. I have an example here. I chose the lion, and if you'll notice from my diagram, I depict every stage of the lion's life cycle from newborn cub to its introduction to the pride, to its hunting phase where it learns how to interact with the pride, and then all the way to its adult stage. This is my example. This slide will be yours. The name of your organism will go in the middle. Pictures of its different life stages will go on the outer boundaries. And then descriptions for every phase will go in the four corners. Good luck, everyone. You'll find your assignment on Google Classroom, mark it as done, and then turn it in when you've finished all three tasks. Thank you.